Sarcophagus is an open-source, blockchain-enabled, general-purpose digital deadman switch. It sounds complicated, but let's break it down. A deadman switch. According to Wikipedia, it's a switch that is designed to be activated or deactivated if the human operator becomes incapacitated, such as through death, loss of consciousness, or being bodily removed from control. In less complicated examples, if the human is deceased, the switch goes off and then something happens. Historically, this technique was installed in dangerous machinery such as streetcars and subways, but today it's also used to protect important data. So that doesn't really explain what sarcophagus is. First, let's go back in time to ancient Egypt in 2600 BC. Ancient Egyptians believed in the afterlife and the sarcophagus as their eternal dwelling place. The embalmer prepares the bodies for the afterlife through a series of processes, using various chemicals and removing some organs, but don't worry, we don't do stuff like this. Some sarcophagi even remained hidden for thousands of years, and finding them is a job for archaeologists. Well, our concept is not that far off. In our sarcophagus, we also have the same entities like a sarcophagus, an embalmer, and an archaeologist. Sarcophagus is built on the Arweave network, which is a new type of storage that backs data with sustainable and perpetual endowments, allowing users and developers to truly store data forever. The Sarcophagus protocol places a dual encrypted file on the Arweave network, and this file is wrapped, rewrapped, and resurrected by the embalmer and the archaeologist. Inside the sarcophagus is what we call the corpse. This is the payload and can be any file type. The treasure, or paid fee, placed inside the sarcophagus is the bounty. This bounty and the digging fees are paid in Sarco and are placed inside the outer encryption layer to be unwrapped. The sarcophagus consists of 2 layers of encryption. In the resurrection phase, the archaeologist unwraps the outer layer of the encryption, but for the inner layer, we need the recipient's private key. This recipient is designated during the curse. Who is the recipient? Well, the recipient is the designated ETH key pair that is able to download the payload data, or what we call a corpse, after it has been resurrected. So that means that we need both the archaeologist and the recipient to resurrect our sarcophagus. The embalmer is the creator of the sarcophagus, and like the embalmer in ancient Egypt, it does the most essential work preparing the corpse. They choose the payload and their resurrection time, pay for digging fees, attach the bounty, and determine how to handle the rewrapping process. Rewrapping can be performed at any point to change the resurrection time. An embalmer must curse an archaeologist in order to have their sarcophagus monitored and resurrected in the case of a failed attestation. And then comes the archaeologist. The main goal for an archaeologist is to make more money in bounties and digging fees than it costs them to operate their infrastructure. They are a third-party utility provider. They provide a service to the embalmer and the recipient without having control or visibility into the stored data, similar to a staking node operator on other networks.